Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Eddie Jennings from EJSLLC.com. This video is another in my practice session series for the Red Hat exam EX374, Red Hat Certified Specialist in Developing Automation with Ansible Automation Platform. I want to thank returning subscribers for watching another video, as well as invite anyone who's watching, if you haven't subscribed yet, to click the subscribe button. And if you enjoy the video or find it useful, make sure you click like. I also want to remind you that this is my practice set, or this is one of my practice sessions for the exam where I'm going through the objectives and either talking about them or trying to do some examples of the objectives. And throughout the video and at the end, I'll do a self-assessment to see if I feel confident with the objective. And if so, great, then I'm probably ready to handle tasks related to the objective on the exam. And if not, I have just under 2 weeks to do some final preparation and fill in a couple of knowledge gaps prior to the exam. These are not intended to be tutorials, nor are they intended to be training materials, though I do try to have the information accurate. It's just my opportunity to do some practicing, and I put these out on the internet in hopes that anyone who's preparing for the exam might see my videos and get some ideas of what they can do to help their own preparation. But since I am still learning myself, I would not consider these authoritative training materials or anything like that. So we're moving into the delegate tasks section of the objectives, and I think I can do both of these with a single video. I try to do like one video per objective, but sometimes it's better to put a few together. So we're going to look at running a task for a managed host on a different host and control whether facts are gathered by a task or delegated to the managed host or to the controlling host. So this is about doing the delegate to directive when you're doing tasks in a playbook. And this I have used with some of my work that I do day to day. And one I'm thinking of off the top of my head is doing stuff against the hypervisor that we do at work. I'm usually, if I'm having to do stuff against that, really I'm running the tasks against the control node itself to reach out to the hypervisor to do things. So let's make an example here. Off the top of my head, I'm having a hard time thinking of something that's not just like a little contrived thing, but I guess I'll do a contrived thing and demonstrate the delegate to. So let's do trying delegation. We won't need to become for this. Hosts, we'll do AAP node 2 for our example, and tasks. And we're going to just create a file. Use Ansible built-in file. The path is going to be temp delegation test, and the state will be touch. I'm not going to deal with ownership and such. So this is going to make a file, and it should create this on the desired host. All right, and let's ls or SSH into that. And there's our delegation test. So that did exactly as we expected. Now let's say that for some reason in our playbook, we needed to do a thing and we need to run that against the control node instead of running this against the managed node that the playbook is going to do most of its stuff with. We can use delegate to for that. So I'm going to copy these 4 lines, and you can do this at the end of the block or the beginning. Do it at the beginning for this. Delegate to, I'm going to do localhost. Now this is going to be interesting. I think this is not going to work the way that I intend. I think it's going to try to write this to the container, but we'll see what happens first, and then we'll use actual Ansible playbook to truly run against localhost. But what this will do, and actually let me get rid of that file, so that way we'll make us a new one. Okay, good. So we're starting fresh. So what this should do is make a file on the managed node that we want and then do something against localhost. Now, what I'm curious Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a ton of stuff from Ansible Navigator. Yeah, this tried to do this against the container, and apparently was successful with that. So let us. I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to try again. Do EE false, so that way it will truly run against localhost. And let's see what happens. All right, so now, I expected that to make that file here, unless I just misspelled. There it is. Oh yeah, I misspelled. All right, so there's our delegation task that's actually on localhost. I had to say execution environment off for that to happen. So that's the basic idea. Now you can also, we won't do this against localhost this time. Let's delegate this to node 1. Let's see if this will work. We'll keep the execution environment. All right, and we'll Ansible at AAP node 1, not node 2, node 1. And it's changing for node 2 because this is state touch, so it's updating the timestamp. And there it is on node 1. So the first part of that, run a task for a managed host on a different host. We're doing that with Delegate 2. Now, facts become an interesting thing. This is not something I've really thought through prior to preparing for this exam, but it's kind of a nifty thing. The delegation of a task apparently also delegates facts. So let's put this to the test here. We change our foo.yml, and this time we're going to do Ansible built-in debug, and we're going to look at the Ansible facts host name. We're going to do this without delegation first. What should return is the host name for AAP node 2. Yep, that's what we expect. So now we're going to make a delegated tab, create a file. We'll rename this to show the host name. Now we'll delegate this. Let's see what happens with our facts. So even though we ran our debug, we delegated that to AAP node 1, the fact was delegated along with the task itself. So therefore, Ansible facts host name is still showing AAP node 2. And I believe you can tell it to not delegate facts. It's plural. Let's see what happens here. See if my memory is correct. Nope. I was expecting that to give me AAP node 1. Nope, that's something that I'm going to have to look up unless I'm doing that incorrectly. So let's see if there's some offline. Let's say if I'm running into this with the exam, let's see if there's some offline documentation that can help me. Can't remember all the different things, and so feeding that nonsense can sometimes help. Probably not. Yeah, there's probably nothing with offline documentation. So that's something I'm going to need to review, because I thought you could do delegate facts false, and you would not. Let's run this with some verbosity. It might give me an idea of what this is doing. No, not much. All right, well, for this particular objective, I think assessment-wise, running the task on different hosts, obviously I can do that. The control whether facts gathered by a task are delegated to the managed host or the controlling host. And I thought that facts gathered by a task. I wonder, maybe I need to do, because there was no facts gathered by that particular task. Let's try something. So let's go back to, I think this is going to give us all of the packages installed on this system. We might look at I don't use package facts that often. I'll gather the package facts. And let me do this. I'll call it gather package facts. This should show a bunch of information. Yeah, all right, so I want to find, it'll be Ansible facts, packages, network manager. So Ansible facts, packages, network manager. there's a little bit of method to the madness. So we've got the package facts and we have that there. So what I want to do is we're going to install Apache on the node 1. So I'm just going to do an ad hoc command here. Ansible ap node 1. And we're going to do name, httpd, state, present. Okay, so we have the httpd package. Let's think through how I can do this. So facts1, this is going to be undefined. And now what I want to do, I'm going to delegate this to ap node 1. Let's see what happens here. If this doesn't give the results that I'm wanting, then I'm definitely going to consider that sub-objective there a fail, because I need to do some research to figure out, either fix my understanding of what that objective is talking about or fix my understanding of how this actually works. All right, so I'm expecting, since I've told this to delegate to that, and I am wanting to delegate the facts, right, because that's what the objective was saying. Control whether facts gathered by a task are delegated to the managed host or the controlling host. Let's see what happens. Okay, that kind of makes sense because, well, so we delegated to there. Maybe by default it doesn't do that. So let's try, see what happens here. Maybe my understanding about defaults was incorrect. All right, well, let's turn this into false. Let's see if there's any difference. Something tells me we're not going to see any difference. Yeah, so for this piece, the control whether facts are gathered by a task or delegated to the managed host or control host, that is 100% a failure for me being prepared for that, for tasks that ask me to do that. So I'm definitely going to have to go back and fix that, probably even more so than some of the filters and plugin stuff that I had in with my other objectives, because I'm clearly not understanding what needs to happen there. But as far as actually running the tasks on a different host, the delegate to that I have a good understanding. So I want to thank returning subscribers again for watching another video, as well as invite anyone watching, if you haven't subscribed yet, to click the subscribe button and ring the bell when you do, so you can be aware of when new content comes available. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, make sure you click like. Even perhaps you had similar ideas of how the delegate facts work that I did, and I've just proven that my thoughts about that are incorrect. So I have some more research to do. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you the next time.